Have you ever wondered, how do I handle challenging and negative team members and employees? It's tough, I get it, but that's our discussion today on the Business Growth Blueprint podcast. Let's dive in. Hey there, BJ O'Neill with the Business Growth Blueprint podcast, where we talk about all things in profitability, leadership, culture, specifically for faith-driven business owners and entrepreneurs. Okay, today it's all about a challenging subject. I know it's hard to tackle, is dealing with people, right? Why is it so hard? Well, one, and it's interesting, recently, my pastor had a message all about the mission being messy, right? And a part of that, the reason why the mission's messy is people, because people are messy. I'm messy. You're messy. We all have a version of messy. But here's the reality, though, is that as you grow a business, especially when you start getting, 5, 10, 15 plus employees or more, it can be challenging because we're dealing with humans. And there's a few things that kind of, as a bedrock process of thinking about others, it's really, really easy to just look at someone as the role that they play and the contribution that they're making to the business for growth as just that person who does that thing. But guess what? God loves them too. God loves them just like you and me, right? But we got to make sure that if we're not careful, the culture will create itself if you do not design the culture, meaning people will create that culture whether you like it or not, good, bad, or indifferent. Unfortunately, oftentimes it falls into the negative side of things because people are people, right? So what do we do about it? So there's two different things I want you to consider. One is about how we prevent employees and team members getting to that negative place. The second part is maybe you've not done a lot of that work yet. If you haven't, you want to, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But we also want to take a peek at what kind of conversation, what am I going to do when I'm dealing with this, especially if maybe you don't like conflict, which is very natural and very normal for a lot of people, even business owners, believe it or not, where, oh man, I just do not want to deal with this. Well, guess what? When you don't deal with it, it's going to deal with you one way or the other. And you can wake up one day and have a significant challenge on your hands, okay? So we want to be very, very cautious in how we do this and how we set things up when it's all said and done. So here's number one, the prevention part. This is all in the hiring phase, okay? When we are hiring someone, we need to be intentional about communicating to them. We don't allow gossip. We're building a culture of positivity. We're teamwork, camaraderie, and we simply don't allow negativity of any kind. So if you don't have core values, you should. I would encourage you to draft some. But one of those core values at some level needs to speak about the culture that you're driving inside the business. Specifically, I would even get granular. All around, we're not tolerating negativity. Even we're not going to tolerate Eeyore, right? It's just not a place that's going to be welcome here whatsoever. When it's a part of either your mission, when it's a part of your core values, then in the hiring process, you get to talk about that and you're setting the tone. This will take care of a lot. It doesn't eliminate, but it takes care of a lot because they realize what you're doing and why you're doing it. Here's one of the challenges with us as humans is there are personality types that like to control things. And sometimes it's a negative connotation. And when they recognize that I probably can't I can't get what I want and do it my way inside this environment because of the core values and the mission, and you're communicating that properly, man, it can change the ballgame and help you. Plus, if you have to deal with that individual at some point, you get to point back, not you get to, but you point back to, hey, remember, we're not doing this, and here's why. It's a part of the process. So that's number one. Put in your core values. It needs to be a part of the conversation in the hiring process, okay? The next thing is the power of personality assessments. Now, look, the recruitment people of the world do not love it when I bring this up inside the hiring process. I understand why. They think it's a tool to hire and fire. That's not true. It's a tool to understand people. That's all this is about. Because when you can understand how someone's naturally wired in their own environment and how they're naturally wired inside a workplace environment, you at least get to understand. And then what happens is that a lot of tools, like I'm a fan of the DISC assessment. Okay, it's just my favorite one. There's a lot of great ones out there. I don't care which one you use, the Colby, Myers-Briggs, whatever. But I'm a fan of DISC. And assessments like DISC, they have a like a team view that says, here's how BJ's wired, here's how Steve is wired, and here's some things that you want to be pay attention to that could, if you didn't know about them, could become challenging. What a gift to have that kind of tool. That's what they're designed to be able to do. So I'm a fan. When I'm bringing on a team member, I want to know how they tick. I want to know what that way I can adjust me in my approach to them in communication style, okay? So it's really important that we understand, because if you don't know anything about them and they come into your world and all of a sudden they reel their head in the way, it's like, whoa, why is this happening? Well, it's happening because you don't know, because you didn't take time to really figure them out in a deeper way. But yes, you need to make sure we're not just going to use this to hire them or not hire them. It's to understand them. So whether you do it on the post side or the pre side of things, or whether you're going to do it after they get hired, whatever. But my preference is before. That's just my style. You just want to do it the right way to honor them in the process. And here's the next thing. Again, this is all about setting the tone. And some people don't like it when I bring this up, but it's an important tool, and it's the 3-strike strategy. When you're hiring them and you're saying, here's our core values, here's our mission, this is what we're trying to drive with the culture. And when it comes to the negativity, it's not going to be tolerated. So here's the deal. If we have to sit down with you and we talk to you one time and it continues, we talk to you a second time, that third time, this is going to be where we're going to show you where, like, hey, we love you, but this is just not the place for you. And we're going to have to move on. And when they know that ahead of time, you've set the culture expectation. You've shown them your core values. You've let them know, look, it's not just tolerated. We're going to deal with it, and we're going to deal with it 2 times. The third time, got to move on. All right? So that's how you can set the tone and avoid a lot of issues. You're either going to avoid the individual, or you're going to avoid the individual ever coming on board with your team, because they're like, yeah, this environment probably is not a fit for me. Okay. Now let's talk about, what do I do if I've got that negative team member, that gossipy team member on board right now? They're causing issues. We love them. They're great people, but man, they're a challenge to work with. I've got other team members complaining. They're coming to me all the time. One, you got to deal with it, okay? If your personality, your type, your own self, you don't enjoy conflict, and you're trying to avoid a lot of conflict, the weed is not just growing. We all think that you see a weed and it's ugly or whatever. Look below. It's the roots that are nasty. And so what happens is, the longer this issue goes on, those roots are going to go deeper. They're going to spread further. And the worst thing that can happen is they contaminate other team members. I've seen it happen time and time again. And it literally can cripple the business, production, activity, joy, hope, peace, the whole things that we should be driving for as faith-driven entrepreneurs. And so we're not to being responsible when we're not dealing with the conflict. And I get it, it's not fun, but it must happen. So here's a conversation that you want to have with those individuals, okay? Number one, I have a little saying that says, to be unclear is to be unkind. And I don't want to be unkind. I didn't make that up. I don't know where I got it. It might be Zig Ziglar. I'm not sure. But regardless, that helps set this tone. And so people that work around me, they've heard that a lot. They've heard me say, look, to be unclear is to be unkind. And I don't want to be unkind to you. So we're going to have to sit down and have a come to Jesus meeting with this individual. But the way you do it can change everything. Because here's the cool thing. God can use you in this moment. Now, we're thinking about the business, the people, growth, all this stuff, which we have to. But guess what? This is what I call ministry in the marketplace. What if God can use you to influence them in a positive manner that no one's been willing to do before? What if their upbringing, what if their experiences, just some tough life things have shaped them, unfortunately, to become negative and to become a gossiper? Sometimes they don't even know they're doing it. But most people just want to, bull in the china shop, whip the whip, and crack the whip rather, and just take care of it. That's not always the best way, or not the best way at all. We want to have a real solid conversation. Colossians 4:6 says this. It says, let your conversation be always full of grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everyone. That's an encouraging scripture in this context, to be able to really sit down with someone and help them walk through this. So it reminds us, number one, we got to be gracious. They're frustrating me. They're angering me. They're irritating Steve over here, Bill over here, whatever, right? And it causes us to, our blood to boil. But we got to handle this with grace. 2, seasoned with salt. This can mean being wise and discerning, that your words can make an impact, both positive and negative, based on how you handle this person. But we got to sit down with them and we just got to say, look, we can't do this anymore. Here's what's going on, and you want to bring some facts up. We can't rest on how you feel. We can't rest on how Susie feels, emotional. We need to say, I've observed this, and this. I've heard you say that to that person and this, and I need you to hear me. Like, that's hurting us as a team. I care about you. I care about you being a part of it, and I want you to be here. But it can't be like this. I need your help. I need you to improve your language. I need you to improve your body language. You're acting in a manner where, when you posture up or posture down, or again, use some factual things that you've observed and help them to see. Now, they might rear their heads. They might get ugly to you. That might happen. That's okay. But you can't let it go on. And then you need to set some expectations. Now, here's my advice, is that if you haven't drafted core values, number one, and if you do have them and you've never really talked about them to your teams, and you certainly don't have anything inside the core values about gossip and negativity, this is a moment for you to be able to draft those, and you're going to share them with the entire group. But this is where inside that one-on-one conversation, it's a version of this. Look, we've got to tackle this, and here's what we're going to do. 1, we have improved and updated our core values to say X, Y, and Z, and you're going to kind of go over that with them. Number 2, we have improved a policy that it's a 3-strike strategy. And here's what it means. I'm talking to you about this now, and I'm just letting you know you're hurting us. We can't do that anymore. I want you to do better. I want you to be a part of a vibrant team. But if we do this a couple more times, it's probably going to be the end of the road. Now, look, I get it. It's a confrontational conversation. That's why grace so matters. They might get frustrated with you, and that's okay. Let them steam off. That's okay. Let that happen. But you've communicated the real truth of what needs to happen, and now you've set the expectation to move on. But my invitation to you is to think about it differently. And this is I know it's hard because we're all humans, right? We're messy. We're people, and people typically mess a lot of stuff up. I know I have. But we want to invite them to go, you can be a part of the solution, and I'm looking for people. And what if, just what if, don't discount this, what if you can be used to make a significant difference in their life? What if they go home, and I've seen it happen many times. They go home, a couple of days later, they come back and go, no one's ever given me a chance like that before. But I'm beyond thankful to you. It's not about us. It's just about we have an option and an opportunity to bring ministry into the marketplace and deal with this person in a grace-like manner for improvements. But again, you got to stick to your deal. If they don't make the improvements, we need to help them find another place. Side note, I was working with a client one time, and they hated saying goodbye to people, but they did it enough times where they were very good at understanding the right people, right seats, right time, the whole thing. But when they move people on, they help them find another job. That's pretty cool. I don't know if that's the right fit for you or not, but my point is that having a heart full of grace in dealing with negative employees, you can't yell at them. You can't be always frustrated with them. And if you let it go on and on and on, you're just telling the rest of the team, I don't really care. And even if you think you do, hard to do that when you're just letting it just grow and grow and grow and grow, okay? So there you go. You have a template, you have a plan, you have a strategy on being able to help prevent some of the issues and certainly to deal with some of those issues that you're having right now. Don't let it go another day. If you do, you're just making matters worse and worse and worse. Hey, real quick before we go, I want to make an invitation to you for some resources for you. And when we're dealing with people, guess what? We got to pray, right? We need to really ask God to help us, to give us guidance, the right words, especially if you're nervous about that conversation and so on, and other things. In praying for the business as a whole, we have a 5-day Pray for Your Business Challenge Guide. We'd like to invite you to go beyond the blueprint and to invest, to go really learn how to invite God into the process of your business. You can just simply text the word pray to 615-208-6404. That's 615-208-6404. That's the word pray. We'll send that to you. It's our gift to you for being a part of the community here with the podcast, and we'll go from there, okay? Until next time, take care. Now, next episode, we're going to talk about rest and sleep and how it can actually become a competitive advantage for your business. Subscribe now so you don't miss an episode of Business Growth Blueprint.
Access more